Uhuru, friends and comrades, this is Jackson with another Reparations Wednesday, and today we are learning how to make guacamole. Now, full disclosure, obviously if you have not noticed my vampire face, I am a colonizer, I am a white person. I was born in California, but I'm certainly not indigenous to that stolen land. The U.S. stole half of Mexico at gunpoint, as Chairman Amalia Chatella has summed up, as obviously Union del Barrio has summed up. And I just want to say that, full solidarity with indigenous peoples to this land, and, make America Mexico again. And, the border, they don't cross the border has crossed them. And so, victory to Mexican people, to indigenous peoples for reclaiming their own land, and reparations. And just wanted to, full disclosure on that. So now let's begin. Also, please note that being a colonizer, I learned how to make guacamole from other colonizers. There are many ways to make guacamole. Make it how you like to make it. And also, obviously, I want to acknowledge the origins of it. White people did not come up with guacamole, and this recipe is not fully traditional. But it is delicious, and I hope you learn a lot from it. Uhuru. Okay, so we have 3 very ripe avocados here. They may be a little bit overripe, so may have to cut off a couple parts of it, but it's certainly enough to make some delicious guacamole. I have a little knife here, lime, fork for mashing. You can also use a masher, but for small amounts, I think that a fork works just fine. Cutting board, bowl, so these are all your tools. I use cayenne, you don't have to. Sea salt, and of course you can use fresh onion and garlic, but here's some powdered ones I'm going to be using. So let's begin. Now, if you're not familiar on how to cut an avocado, you stand it up, cut right through. You want to be careful. Cut around the pit, break it apart or twist it apart. Okay, so here we are. Notice the little brown spots up here I'm going to cut off. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine. And I'm going to take the knife on the pit and whack it, twist it. There you are. You can pull that off. That's fine. And now, if you're just, going to mash it, I'm going to cut this part off here. You can just spoon it out with a spoon, obviously. Or if you, want to, cut it for other things, you can kind of cut it like you would half a mango, and you can do it in slices or cube it, etc. You can use a spoon or a fork to scoop it out. So I'm just going to use this here and put it into your bowl. There we are. And you do the rest of these. Have it all scooped out into the bowl. Now, I did break out the spoon just to get the last bits of the guacamole that's stuck in here. So like this part here, I'm going to scrape more of that out, because this part, the dark green part that's stuck to the skin, is actually the healthiest part. So you want to make sure to scrape it all out like I did here. So I neglected to break out the spoon before, but you definitely want to do that. And now I'm going to put in the other ingredients and then mash it all up. So now I'm going to cut the lime, and you can cut it, whatever way, but I'm going to cut it half-wise instead of lengthwise, or whatever that's called. So, the ends are here. I'm going to cut it like this, and I'm going to use a technique that, here. Sometimes I poke it just to make it easier to get a groove in. And I'm going to use a technique I learned from Comrade Renee of the African People's Solidarity Committee, where, first you roll it. It helps get the juice out. Now I've cut it in half, but if you roll it, it helps get the juice more out. And then what Comrade Renee does, I'm just going to use the same fork. That's all avocado because it's all going in the same place. Now you take a fork, or you can use a knife if you're brave, and kind of just twist the fork in it, and as you go around, more of the juice gets out that way rather than just squeezing it, all your hand. Find this very useful. And so I'm going to use the full lime to get all that vitamin C. You know, if you don't like as much lime in your guacamole, feel free to only use half. I'm going to use the full lime. But yeah, just cranking it around with a fork or knife helps get out maximum amount of lime juice. So I'm going to do the other half here as well. Crank some sea salt into this, and if you're going to mostly use it as the guacamole as dip for chips, you know, usually the chips have a lot of salt on them already, so don't add too much salt because then it will just be super salty, and that's a little bit much for me. I'm gonna add onion powder, I like to add a lot, and garlic. Of course, again, you can add fresh as well, and now I like it spicy, and I'm gonna add a lot of cayenne. There we are. Then you're gonna mash it all up. Everything and mash it all up, and here we have guacamole. Now, some people will add in, you know, non-traditional stuff like salsa or sour cream or whatever. Even Greek yogurt and hot sauce, and of course those are non-traditional, but they can be tasty depending on your appetite. So it's up to you as to how traditional or not you want to be and how you like your guacamole. And now you can enjoy your guacamole with chips or as a topping to something, or, you know, really you can't go wrong with guacamole, really. It's delicious. So that is how to make guacamole. And this video is a part of a YouTube series that is a reparations challenge. Members and supporters of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, that's Uhuru, UHURU, are taking the reparations challenge to raise reparations to the Black Power Blueprint, which is a program led by African working class, a program of the African People's Socialist Party, through the African People's Education and Defense Fund and Black Star Industries, and is really building economic and social institutions on the ground in impoverished, exploited Black working class communities, food programs, community gardens, new Uhuru House community centers, and housing, marketplaces, the African Liberation Workforce Program, so many projects, basketball court even, and it's really exciting. So all the reparations raised from this reparations challenge go there. Other people are taking the reparations challenge through teaching yoga or running a marathon, or, you know, Harry Potter trivia nights, or all sorts of things to raise reparations to African people, because we as white people, we owe reparations to African people for, you know, not just for slavery, but for all sorts of things since then, ongoing today with police brutality, mass incarceration. Just, you know, they are attacked on every front, and we have the responsibility to raise reparations. So you can contribute reparations to this reparations challenge by going to uhurusolidarity.org. That's UHURU solidarity.org. Click on the big red button, Pay Reparations, and put in the comments it is for Reparations Wednesdays. And you can also sign up to take your own reparations challenge and contribute to this movement. So thank you so much for tuning in, and Uhuru.